Welcome to the Love and Success Are Married podcast, where we talk about all things love. So, how to get a relationship, what's the actual point of even being in a relationship, whether that's friends, families, lovers, and how to actually nurture a relationship, where we talk about all things success, so the different niches, industries, and how is society currently improving and changing with the technological innovation that's going on right now. And then finally, the thing that merges all of this stuff together, the thing that merges love and success, which is the culture. And the culture is how humans interact with each other. So that's usually affected by variables like status, their current health, their current economic situation, where they live, the climate of where they live, the job type they have, the skill, whatever, things like that. So we're going to be psychoanalyzing things like that, looking at societal conditions and standards. That's what we're going to be doing on the podcast. So my name's Gavin. I'm not going to really introduce myself. I'll introduce myself to you as we go on into the podcast. Right now, let's get straight into the content. So the first question of today's podcast, is love possible in today's society? So often there's like an image portrayed of what love looks like through Instagram highlight reels, because let's just be honest, most things you do when you go outside, if you're a girl, you look at guys. If you're a guy, you look at girls. When you're on your phone, you just look at your opposite, like your other half. You're always like analyzing, would I be able to get in a relationship? Am I attracted to this person? You're always like thinking about these things, and then you constantly change yourself because of this. Obviously, you don't do it like so drastic. Like obviously you should have a base of who you are, but to some degree you do think, oh, is it time to get in a relationship? Should I be in a relationship? Am I ready for a relationship? These are always things going through our heads, especially when it's always on socials. Whenever you go on socials and people are just showing, this is the image of what my life looks like with someone. It's just always a thing, like, is true love even possible? Because this is the thing, right? What is the modern day addiction of society? It's scrolling social media, right? And what is that literally doing? You're overstimulating yourself and you're ruining your expectations and your standards of what you think life should be. So you're not thinking about, okay, this is who I am. This is my past. This is my present. And this is what I want my future to be. So this is the direction I'm going to go in. No, instead of that, you're thinking, what does this person have? And I kind of want that now. But then you see 100 other people just like that, and it distorts who you actually are and what you actually want. So now you don't even want what you want. You want some fake image that you've created in your mind because of the content you've been consuming. So it's like you're not even trying to get real love. You're trying to get some image, some fabrication. So you've ruined the complete definition of love in the first place. So first of all, let's like define like what love is. I think love is when two people come together and first of all, they see each other as us. It's not me and you, it's us. And there's like a harmony, a synergy. Like synergy basically means, okay, we're together now and the things you're good at, the things I'm good at make us better. The things you're weak at, the things the other person's weak at, we can help each other improve or we can help compensate for those things. We complement each other. That's what synergy is. It's like filling each other's gaps and making each other stronger in the different areas you're already good at. So I believe if you have a mission together, if you have a purpose, like, okay, we're going to raise these kids, we're going to be part of our community in this way, we have this sort of purpose, then I believe our relationship can be successful. If your whole relationship is about just getting a lifestyle and it's all about me, I want to live chill, I want to be on the beach, I want to be living in good weather. I want to live in this certain type of accommodation, this sort of housing, whatever. I want to have this certain lifestyle. I want to wake up at you're going to wake up at 6 a.m. or 10 a.m. and do X, Y, Z. That's not love. That's like individualism being overly inflated because you're deluded by the Western like sort of mindset of society where you're not trying to merge with someone. You're not trying to create a union. You want to love for like a trophy. You want to love to like accentuate, like distort your own lifestyle. And that's just not real. So the issue is people say they want love, but the first issue is your image of it is distorted. And if your image of it is accurate, then the hard thing is about finding someone that you actually do harmonize with and you actually find that synergy with. So I think that true love is possible if you can find someone that you can align with values and like be on a certain mission with. But if you can't do that, it's always going to fall apart, because guess what? You know what keeps people together? Their values. If you don't have any values, nothing is going to keep you together. You're just going to always fall back on that one thing, which is what? Your weaknesses. And weaknesses is always going to make you feel, vulnerable, uncomfortable, like you're in pain, you have problems. And then that's going to make you feel like, I want my lifestyle to be like this. And then it becomes all about you again. You see what the problem is? That's why you need some sort of foundation before you get with someone. But anyways, we're going to talk about these topics more as the podcast goes on, like in future episodes. But I want to get to more topics. So let's move on to the second topic of today in the love section, the love, family, relationship section of the podcast. Then we're going to move on into like business, innovation, society, infrastructure, things like that. So the second topic today is, how much does your starting point versus your network define how far you're going to go in life? So what does this mean? Okay, you say everyone's like, there's equality, right? Everyone goes to school and everyone competes for the same jobs. Everyone gets the skills to start their business and blah, 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 and they move up, right? But that's not really how it works, because some people are immediately trained, you're just going to do labor. And sometimes that's very successful. Sometimes you become a business person in the trades and you become very successful. Sometimes you throw your life away, you get in a tragic health accident, and boom, it's over. All because you stayed in the wrong industry and you are overworking yourself and you're not expanding your horizons. Most people, they go in education and then they just end up in corporate, or they end up in a lower tier of corporate in like more so medium, smaller businesses. And then they get phased out because they don't learn enough valuable skills. They're not enough to be valuable. They don't stick out. And it makes it hard for them to move around. So they're always in like kind of low tier positions. But obviously as you age, inevitably, 10 years of experience is 10 years of experience. And that on your resume is naturally going to get you qualified for like a higher position, right? But at the end of the day, your starting point is the only thing that matters. So like, let me explain to you what I mean by this. If you start in a family that has all the knowledge of a certain path of how to make it, for example, an athlete, your kid is not going to become a professional athlete if you don't know anything about athletics, if you don't have a coach, because the second that kid has an injury, you don't know what to do. The kids it's over. Mentality-wise, they're broken. Their whole identity was rooted in their health, their vitality, and now they've lost it. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Nothing. You're going to try to find, should I go to physio? Should I Google it? What should I do? Should I ask around? And by then it's too late. This costs money to go physio, to rehab. It's all these solutions. It's taking time away from other things. The kid's isolated. They're not in a team environment. They're just working with these professionals. You don't really know what's going on with the process. You give up. That is why most kids fail, because their parents have no idea what they're doing. You need the knowledge as a parent to know, okay, I've identified my kid has a natural talent, a natural skill, a natural gift for this area of skill, this industry, this niche. I need to nurture that. I need to push them in this direction. And if you have not educated yourself, well, then your kid's success, what could they do? You're their coach. You need to guide them. They can't do anything without the guidance, because the second something bad happens, they don't know what to do. They are going to try to figure it out by themselves, but it's not going to be enough, because the kids who have made it to the top of the top always have support. It's just a fact. 95% to 98% of kids that make it there, they have the support. Without the support of your starting point, you're not going to get anywhere. That's just a fact. You can push yourself. You can be the rare one of ones, but it's like, you need support. You need someone telling you, hey, this is the way around the industry. Hey, if you get injured, this is what you do. This is how you recover. And then it becomes more preventative. Then they never get injured because they just have mastered how to practice, how to play, how to train. if you push them in a certain, like in a different path, let's say like accounting, for example, they know, okay, these are the topics you need to study. You need to get really fast in math. You need to get really good at problem solving. You need to get good with client relationships. So I'm going to teach them these certain skills that's going to make them good in this area before they even get there. And naturally, everyone's like, wow, how do you know that? And then on top of that, if we go in a level up, they already have the business relationships to get you in a job. Maybe they're already in the business and they can already get you a position. And then you get an easy start because now you're already mentored. Someone's already vouched for you. You already have a reputation before you even step into the building. Do you understand the value that comes with that sort of respect? That is how people get further, is with a starting point. If you started from zero, opening doors, you're always going to have to get on your knees. You're always going to have to bow. You're always going to have to beg, because no one cares about your success. No one cares about your life, your existence, your potential. No one cares. No one's inclined. No one's invested in you. And that is your biggest weakness, the fact that no one cares about you. That's the value of a starting point in having someone that nurtures your future. Someone needs to have a vision for what you can become. And it needs to be so that they actually look at you and like, hey, he's good at this or she's good at that. You just need a starting point. Without a starting point, you're already at a disadvantage. Because let me explain before we move off this topic. That's nurture. Nurture is cultivating and curating the environment for your success. If you leave it to nature, you're letting society create your kid. And what's popular today? We're going to talk about that as podcasts go on. I'm not going to spoil everything I have to say in today. But what's popular today? Do you want that culture to create your kid? Do you want them to watch streamers and like go on their For You page and scroll? Is that what you want them to become? Because that's what they're going to become. And it's not just a problem, but the content's educational and it's good. They're addicted. Their brain's hooked. You've already destroyed their brain chemistry. Is that what human nature is about? Are they executing from just being addicted to their phone? Life's not that simple. It's not just about what you consume, it's how you live. We're going to get into that later, the problem with this whole observation culture and how it's taking away from human potential because you're not acting on the information you have. You learn by experience. You don't learn by just constantly consuming. It's not a real life. You're not living. You're just in between life and death. You're somewhere that nobody knows where it is. That's the real fear of this like addiction to technology. Okay, second topic. That was the second topic in the love family relationship section. Now, let's move on into the business, innovation, society, infrastructure section, the whole success section. So let's talk about, I have a list of topics. Okay, yeah, let's talk about this. Let's talk about what will the future leaders of Gen Z, what will their skills have to be, knowing the difference between human nature and technology. So we live in a world now where humans don't exist by themselves. They also have to coexist with technology. It's just a fact. So what are the skills that Gen Z is going to have? How are they going to balance human nature and technology to be leaders in the future of society? Because the ones that don't, the ones that are just absorbed by technology, they're going to fall apart. Because technology naturally, by design, it's trying to learn humans. That's all it's made for. Data. Data is the oil of technology. Data is how tech companies make money. They create customer profiles and they learn everything about you. They're trying to map out your soul. They're trying to understand the emotional frequency of your heart and how to manipulate it, how to curate it, how to create it. They want to choose what you think and feel. That is literally the whole goal of technology. But if you use technology as a tool, then it can literally be used to speed up your work, to make you more fast, efficient, can make you get knowledge faster, information faster. Because with social media, we live in the age where information exchange is so quick, but the issue is the quality of information is very low, usually very low. Sometimes it appears to be very relevant, But if you look at the information, it's often a very low quality because it's not the true value and currency of society. The value and currency of society is not information, it's networks. You get networks by having value. Value shows, hey, this person's trustworthy, reliable, useful. They help me, they care about me, they love me, they respect me, they cherish me, they want my success. Okay, they did something for me, I'm going to do something for them now because I care about them and I want to nurture this relationship. I want to make it more than transactional. Now you two are both in good places in the world. Now you've created a network because now both of you are somewhat powerful, and now two good people with the same values can do things for each other, and then you expand it to a third person, a fourth person, and now your hands just reach everywhere and there's no place you can't touch. That's the idea of a network. Being able to scroll on everyone's profile, yeah, it's not going to do anything for you. Everyone has access to all the profiles. That's not the true currency of success in society. But there's a fruit fly. But the skills that future Gen Z leaders are going to need to have, it's going to be honesty, transparency, and just being able to present clear ideas. Because right now, what are the issues? The issues is what? There's no gatekeepers currently. Anyone can say anything and get any amount of attention, virality, popularity, views. You post a video and you can get 1 million views if the algorithm favors you. And the algorithm, we already know, is biased. We already know that. It's just a fact. Things are pushed virally by design, by choice. So if you fit a certain narrative, if you speak to a certain sort of topics that is preferred by the algorithm, if you look a certain way, you're going to get pushed. It's just a fact. But obviously, just because it's like that doesn't mean you can't break through regardless. So the thing that's going to really stick out to people is truth. Think about it. Whenever someone says a truth, whenever what was once viewed as a conspiracy, what was once viewed as, oh, that person sounds crazy. What are you talking about? And then 10 years later, we find out it's true. Do you know how dumb everyone feels? And now we want to know, okay, what else do they think? What are they doing? They probably make $10 million a month because they know things that we don't. And they do make a lot of money and they are successful in their life because they can see the world clearer. They have the value and the skill of clarity. So Gen Z leaders need to be honest and transparent because right now, the whole economic system thrives on what? On not telling you what it's actually doing. They say, oh, social media is beneficial because you get information and you get to connect with people, but they don't tell you that it's so addictive and the algorithms are not made constructively, they're made predatorily. So they're trying to prey on your attention. They see it as a value and a resource. Instagram generates around $90 billion or $90 million. I think it's $90 million a day. So just think about that. That is their advertising power. They're making around $100 million a day. So you can do the math on that. That is how much power they have just from your attention. And you're giving it away for free. So the reason why honesty would be so powerful is because if you knew the truth, you wouldn't freely give up your attention. You would have more values. You'd be more rooted in principles and foundation. And you'd be more selective with your action. And you wouldn't choose to live so frivolously. You wouldn't throw things away. Just because your time and attention right now means nothing, don't think you could just throw your time away. Use it to become what you know you can be. Don't be irrational. You're supposed to use this time to develop. Just because you're not developed right now, just because you're exposed to technology at a young age, it's not fair that the older generation was 40 and their life was already built when technology was made, so they have a million things to show off. And you're 16, you're 21, you're 27, and you're still growing. You need to keep growing and get to where you need to be. Get to where your potential, what you know it is. That is your job here. You're not supposed to just be defeated and carry a defeatist mindset. So that's the value of honesty. It pushes people into being who they actually are, into finding true self-knowledge. And Gen Z leaders that can do that will empower the people to be what they can actually be instead of being a distorted image. Because what do we have right now? It's vanity culture. Everyone's distorting who they are to a highlight reel. They're showing a fake version of who they actually are. They don't actually live like that. They're just acting. They're just acting happy. They're just acting like they feel fulfilled with their life. But they're doing what a million other people are doing. There's only so many names they're going to remember. There's only so many people doing impactful things that are like changing people's lives. It's an accomplishment in itself to feel fulfilled. But so many people, they're doing it for brand deals. They're doing it for money. Like they're just acting because they know it can get them a check because they're feeding the lifestyle. And to be honest, that's a sickness in itself. Trust me, it poisons their soul. So it's not good to like be performative when that's not who you are. And that's what a lot of the culture right now consists of. So the future leaders of Gen Z, without a doubt, are going to be honest, transparent, and very clear. And they're going to be able to cut through the noise of, oh, this person's doing this and this person's doing that. And the whole FOMO culture, they're going to cut through and be like, this is what it is. They're going to have that power. Okay. So the next topic in the success, business, innovation, society, infrastructure. So in this section, okay, let's talk about this. So what are the new valuable skills in today's market? So we can assume that innovation is some superior race. We can't assume that artificial intelligence is some superior race. That means humans can just give up and relegate their own development and progression to comfort and convenience. By corporations introducing artificial intelligence the way they are, is removing humans' thought that improvement is a necessity. This is the greatest act of deception that we've ever seen. You need to understand that there is a difference between human nature and technology. And this is like a big topic we're